people and have a deep affection for America. Although the color of our skin is brown, the temper of our minds and our beliefs is almost identical with yours. The Philippines, in government system and tradition, is a replica in miniature of the United States. There has been transplanted to a land 10,000 miles across the seas, the seed of American democracy. If a prosperous and free democracy can be built in the Philippines upon the ruins of war, the prestige of America and the American way of life will be raised to towering heights, and the millions of people of the Far East will look to us and to you as their models.
Por el cálido recibimiento y por los honores a ella dispensados. La legendaria galantería hispana ha rebasado sus límites, dando al mundo la más hermosa lección de diplomacia, porque toca al corazón. Nada halaga tanto mi vanidad de padre y ejecutivo de la nación como el pensar que el tránsito fugaz de mi hija por tierras españolas ha sido la chispa que ha encendido la hoguera que ha de alumbrar el destino de los dos pueblos.
Victory in the Philippine elections. His wife and daughter can now reclaim the one-time mechanic and World War II hero who rose to become constitutional head of the infant Philippine Republic and her 20 million people.
I have been warned that too much is expected of this administration, that our people expect the impossible. For this young and vigorous nation of ours, it's really impossible.
And so it is that, as I promised all of you, my countrymen, on that fateful morning of September 23, 1972, when I announced the proclamation of martial law, which had been signed by me before, with your support, placing myself, my life, and my family's life and honor on the judgment of history, that when the time came when we must end martial law, and that time could not be foreseen then, I would be the first to move and initiate the termination of martial law. It is after deliberate, sober judgment and soul searching that I come before you and say, it is now time to terminate martial law.
Thank you very much, President Reagan. Mrs. Reagan, members of the Cabinet, distinguished guests, my friends. On behalf of the 50 million people of the Philippines, Mrs. Marcos and I express our gratitude for your warm welcome to Washington and to the United States of America. This great and beautiful city, that is one of the few cities that was built as the capital for a great nation, is indeed, as has been written, the key to knowing the secret of America. And this house of the American people, an American frontier that never vanishes. Your beautiful city with its grand memorials, its monuments, its walks, is indeed a city that memorializes the great achievements of your people for the past 2 centuries. But more than that, it keeps offering to the enterprising and the talented, the courageous and the strong, the rewards of effort and of initiative. At the same time, as I stand here on American soil, I realize that I stand on what may be the center of the government of the United States of America, here where, as I have often stated, the future is being born. The future is being born depending upon the man who is in the White House. And the man who is in the White House today certainly is creating a new future for our world. For Mr. President, I come from that part of the world wherein the poorest of the world's population live. I come from that part of the world that cherishes an image of America with its ideals, its dreams, its illusions. I come from the Philippines, a part of Asia which has been molded along the principles of American democracy. We learn to love these ideals and principles, and we lost 1 million of our people fighting for them in the last war. We have always stood by these ideals. We shall continue to do so, whatever may be the cost, at the risk of our fortunes, our lives, but more important of all, our honor. We stand for the ideals of democracy that is our legacy from the United States of America. I did not come to burden you further with additional problems, Mr. President. For I know that, as I have said in many a speech before my own people and before the world, fate and destiny has decreed that the United States of America be the trustee of modern civilization against the threat of a possible second dark ages. And America cannot fail. And therefore, we, the Filipino people, come and bring to you a prayer that God and His divine providence may grant you guidance, strengthen both your heart and hand, so that that hand may be strong on the lever of power and save our humanity. If America fails, then the world is lost. And thus, Mr. President, I can assure you that throughout all of Asia, there is nothing but a reservoir of goodwill for you, the American people, and the United States of America. Once again, may I say thank you for your warm welcome and your hospitality, which I know we will never be able to reciprocate. Thank you.